Hi, everybody. It's Matt from Discover College Soccer. I hope you're enjoying the podcast, whether that's on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I also wanted to let you know about the Discover College Soccer Study Table. This is our brand new online portal that is complete with a 14-part online course giving you all of the ins and outs of the college soccer recruiting process. There's also a wealth of resources such as checklists, templates. There's the spreadsheets that have every soccer program in the country, along with their coaches, their contact information, their social media information, some basic stats about the school, and more. Plus, there's an online community where you can ask your questions, share your wins, your losses, any questions that you may have around the college soccer recruiting process. It's all there at the Discover College Soccer study table that you can find at discovercollegesoccer.com/study table, and hopefully we will see you there. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Carl up at Thiel in Pennsylvania. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah,
Appreciate you having me on.
thanks for being here. Division III women's program in Northwestern PA.
Northwestern PA, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, about
yeah.
7 miles east of the Ohio border and about 45 miles south of Erie, PA.
Yeah, you're still in lake effect snow zone right up there.
Unfortunately, yeah, yeah. Sure. Yep.
Well, you and I, I know obviously you're not new to college soccer, but new to Teal.
New to
So
Tim.
this fall will be your first season. So getting the job in January, have you been able to get recruiting? What's kind of your recruiting calendar looking like as you go forward?
Kind of, well, for 2023, I kind of got what had applied, only because, and I found this out because I coached men for 18 years, and then I coached women for about four in college before I came here, and young ladies make their decision much earlier than guys, so it was a pretty much a closed situation. Who I had is who I had, and so we really started concentrating on 2024s and 2025s. So that's been my main thrust through through this recruiting season, because the summer season's just about ending up with tournaments and clubs and that. So that's where we put a lot of our emphasis on that. Recruiting was 2024s and 2025s, because the 2023s have really made their decisions,
Yeah,
and you were just chasing, probably not to get anybody.
gotcha. Well, you mentioned tournaments. Are there events that are really kind of on your must hit list each year, or where do you like to spend your time event wise?
Yes, and I think a lot of it has to do with where I coached before, and so where I was at before was closer to, was in Pennsylvania, and it was closer to Maryland. So it was the same conference. It was the President's Athletic Conference is what we were in. We were I was at the easternmost school, so I spent a lot of time in Maryland. I'd go to for the guys. I went to the Bethesda tournament over Memorial Day, the Columbia tournament for girls, PA Classics, Delco, New Jersey, the EDPs, and I recruited a lot in that area. Kind of what I found out coming to Teal, because now, like you said, we're in western north central Pennsylvania. I had to add like 2.5 hours onto the trip for those players. And I'm just kind of finding out, kind of what Ohio has. And over the years, it appears right now that in Ohio, there's less and less tournaments to go to than there used to be, say, 5, 10 years ago. I'm trying to get a different feel, because I would say half the women on this team are from Ohio, because we're only 7 miles from it. So, I'm going to have to change my strategy a little bit on what we want to do. Do I still want to go out east? Yeah, because I know a lot of club coaches. I'm familiar with everything, and it's just like anything else. Once you're familiar with something, it's tough to make changes. But I did find it, a little difficult that there aren't a lot of tournaments left in Ohio for some reason, and a lot of them are going to the GLA leagues and those things, and it's hard to get schedules to find out where they're playing and that type of deal. So it's making it a little more difficult for me. And I am a club coach. My philosophy has always been I recruit from the clubs, because I believe the commitment is there from the players to go to the next level. And obviously, they're I'm not saying they're getting totally better coaching, but they're more dedicated, if that makes sense to you.
Sure. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Well, I don't know if you have any ID camps scheduled or plan to, or how do camps and clinics kind of feature into your recruiting?
Well, we do have one planned. It's on July 9th. And, obviously being the first year here, what I do is if I reach out to you, Matt, and you reach back to me, okay, then I try to get the conversation going. Hey, listen, we're having an ID camp. Come and look at the school. Come and visit me. See if it's a right fit for you. And summertime, that I've always felt was sometimes a little more difficult because kids are on vacation. But I like to get them up there in the summer just to get a better feel because you get them up here in the winter and you could have a foot of snow. Although we're lucky here. We have a dome that covers our complete field, so you can play a full indoor game in there. So the weather isn't as much of a problem to have an ID camp in the winter, but it's just the idea of it. But I believe ID camps are very, very important because at the end of the day on Division III, and we all know Division III, there's no scholarship money, is you're coming to the school really because you like the school, and this is your fit for your next step in education. So I think ID camps are very important, and I push really hard and work really hard to try to get the young ladies, or when I was coaching guys, to get the young men at an ID camp.
Okay. Well, whether it's at an ID camp or at an event, and when you're looking at players, kind of what's your hierarchy of things that you're looking for, whether it's on the field or off the field attributes?
I think what you have to look at when you're on it's very easy. You go to a tournament, you're looking at a team, and everybody's looking at that star player. That's the one that's real easy to pick out, right? But you got to pick out the player that you see is very consistent. Of course we want the star. Everybody does, and every coach that's there wants her. But can you pick out the player that is just consistently playing hard? I look what are they doing when they don't have the ball? Are they getting in the right position? Obviously, what their touch is like. But it's kind of can you pick out that player that maybe not everybody's looking at, but can develop into the right fit for your team. Is the right, this girl can play Division III. Okay, the star is going to obviously maybe go to 2 or to go to 1, and you're really going to have a hard time getting that player. But there are players, and there's a lot of them out there that can really come in and help a program, and that's what it takes. It takes a lot of time and experience to kind of sort that out to get that type of player. And I've had a lot of success at it, to tell you the truth.
Well, that's good. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the school. I'm sure there's some folks who aren't familiar with Thiel. Obviously we talked about where it is, but you've been there a short time now, obviously coached against them in the past. So
Yes.
what have you found to be some of the bright spots, the good points about Thiel, maybe some stuff we wouldn't know just by going through the website?
I think what really drove me here was the fact that they've got a lot of good graduate programs. Our physician's assistant program is a track program. If you can get in, you get in, and you can become a physician's assistant. Exercise science, that's another very good major for women. Speech pathology major, track program. And those are the things that kind of attracted me because, and being right up front with you, we're in Greenville, Pennsylvania. We're competing. There's about 15 Division III schools in Western Pennsylvania that we have to compete with. So what's going to make us outstanding over them? And those are some of the programs: exercise science, physician's assistant, speech pathology, masters in clinical psychology, and mental health. So, just about every school has accounting, right? So, how do you distinguish yourself? So, I try to tell these young ladies, listen, this is something that a lot of other schools don't offer, and we do. And that's the niche you try to find.
Okay. Well, you mentioned academics, so obviously for incoming players, the whole college experience is new, and they got to figure out how to balance soccer and their studies. So, how do your students really balance the two, and what kind of support systems does a school offer?
Well, we have, like every school, we have all kind of support systems. If you're getting in, if you need help, we have tutors. You can get if you want a student tutor, if you want a tutor in a professor to tutor you, whatever, we have it. But I really look at it this way: if you're going to come to college, first of all, I want to recruit academically sound students. I want somebody with at least a 3.2 in high school, because we don't want problems. I don't want to have to send kids home because they're ineligible. But I have a short thing. What I tell every recruit that I see about time management. We all get in our lifetime 168 hours in a week. We get no more, we get no less. That's what we get. Okay. Out of that 168 hours, I'm going to give you 10 hours a day to sleep. So now we're down to 98 hours. You take an average of 15 hours of classroom work. I'm going to give you 2 hours for each classroom to study. Now we're down. We take 45 from 98, and we're down to 53. You got to eat. I'll give you 10 hours to eat. Now we're down to 33 hours. I'm going to ask you 20 in the season. Okay, so you still got over a day of time left, and that's only in the season. So if you've ate, you slept, you went to class, and you played soccer, and you got a full days of free time left, and you can't manage it, maybe you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And it's that simple.
Okay. Well, in terms of a a week in the life of a student athlete in the fall, right? I know you haven't had a
Yes.
season yet, but can you walk me through what you
Yes.
think that week's going to look like, just in terms of when is practice time, class time, meal time, game cadence, all that kind of thing?
Absolutely. Yes, because it doesn't change from school to school. It's the same. So I'm a firm believer you practice at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. So that's when we practice. Practice is an hour and a half long, 6 to 7:30. Classes don't start till 8, so you got a half an hour to get ready. Now, when you practice at 6 o'clock in the morning and you're done at 7:30, I never have to worry about, do you have some adjunct a professor, or do you have a biology lab at 4 o'clock that you can't make my practice? There's no excuse not to be at my practice. All right. So you're done. You're free for the day. So you practice. Let's say we usually play games on Wednesday and Saturday. That's pretty typical. So Monday we'll come in, and we'll get going. We'll have a workout. We'll have reviewed the film already from Saturday. So on maybe Monday night, I'll get. And what's nice, we have a really nice huddle system. So Matt, if I have to bring you in, I only have to bring you in and show you your highlights for 10 minutes. Because when you bring a whole team in, and I found out after the years, the kids that didn't play are sleeping and or not paying attention. But when I can bring you in and show you what you did in that game, and what passes you made, or the shots you made, or your clips, then you're more interested in how we can break that down. So on Monday we'll break that film down for the players at night. Tuesday we'll come in, probably, go over what our opponent's going to be like, how we're going to set things up. Won't be maybe quite as hard a workout, because on Wednesday we've got a game. Obviously, game day. If it's home, we're playing we can play night games, which is fine. So you're going to go all day, bring the kids in, make sure they eat, and then get ready for the game. If it's a far away game, like we're playing, at 7 o'clock at night, we're not going to get home till midnight. Normally, we won't have practice in the morning, because they're just going to get home at midnight and have to turn around. We'll get up and have an afternoon practice, but it'll be usually a pretty light practice for recovery. Friday, then we're going to get prepared for our game on Saturday. Sunday, I believe the NCAA makes you have a day off anyway, so let's just take Sunday off and do what we have to do. If we have a break in there, if we're playing, let's say, just one game a week, then Tuesday, Wednesday are going to be tough practices. They're going to be a little bit harder, because we don't have a game scheduled till, let's say, Friday or whatever. But pretty much after camp goes, the practices, you can't beat them up, because you got to play. It's just one of those things. I'm a very stickler on coming into camp in shape. Okay, that's very important because the NCAA just doesn't give us enough time to fool around and do those type of things. We got a lot to do to put a team together because if you're involved in I don't whatever division 1, 2, or 3, it's 18 to 20 games in 8 weeks. It's like game after game after game after game. So you don't have time to waste in preseason and conditioning. You're really working on what do we need to do to prepare for the season. So it's typically how it goes. We'll game on Wednesday, game on Saturday, Sunday off. That type of deal.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I know you mentioned obviously Division III, so no athletic scholarships, but parents like me, we're always concerned, okay, what's this going to cost me, right? So I'm not going to
Right.
hold you to any hard numbers here, but just give me an overview of what the overall tuition financial aid situation is maybe for an average player coming in.
I would say the average player, and some schools are a little bit different, but after all these years of doing this, right now, you can get away between 18 and 25,000 on the average Division III school, depending on your academics, what additional add-on scholarships each school has, whether it's a leadership scholarship or a STEM scholarship, or you can get it down to about, if you're lucky, 17. It depends on your FAFSA form too, and how the school meets needs. So you're going to pay between 17 and 25, somewhere around there. That's pretty typical. And I'd say the average is about 20 for
Okay.
whatever we're looking at.
Yeah. All right. Well, shift gears and let's talk about the team, the soccer side of things a bit. And I know you're kind of stuck with the recruiting class that you got, but moving forward, is there a roster size that you're looking to hit that you find is ideal?
Yes, I think the ideal roster size for and this is my opinion, for any team is between 23 to 25, and that includes your goalies. Okay, and I'll be quite honest with you, unless you're a Messiah or a University of Chicago, after you get past the 16th player, if you get 15 players that can play college soccer Division III, you've done a heck of a job. I'm just, that's the honesty of it. Okay, so why keep somebody that's not going to be able to play? You're doing them an injustice. I'm telling you, you got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm telling you, you got to come into shape, and then I'm going to tell you can't play. That isn't fair to them. You know what I mean? So I think, and it's a great size to have. You have enough if you want to do a full field scrimmage. Yeah, you don't have people. I hate to see somebody standing around in practice, not being able to participate. I really do. And if you keep, 3 goalies is great. I like to have 3 goalies because you get a goalie injured, you're can be in trouble. So if you keep 3 goalies out of 24, that gives you 21 field players. You always have somebody, and then somebody's always hurt. I've been doing this too long, so you keep 20 that can play. Um, that's an ideal size for me. I know colleges today, especially Division III, are pushing for numbers because everybody's fighting for enrollment. But I think you're doing a player injustice when you have 36 players on a team or 40 players on a team and it's only 11 that are playing. So that's just my philosophy. Right, wrong, or whatever. That's the way I believe.
All right. Well, let's talk about your staff. I think you just, from what I saw online, you just hired an assistant. So, how
Yeah.
many staff are involved in the program? What support staff does the athletic department have that may be involved in the program as well?
Well, I mean, we're lucky because a lot of my friends today, even some of them at Division II, don't have paid assistants. We do have a paid assistant. I was lucky that I've known this gentleman for quite a long time. He's been very active in the Pittsburgh area, especially in futsal, and he played college ball, so I was able to get him. Obviously, we're backed by our athletic training department, which is out of the University of Pittsburgh Medical. So we have a good staff there. But basically, it's the 2 of us, and that's another reason to keep it at 24. My intentions are eventually to hire a goalie coach. I think that's really important. This year, I wasn't able to do that. In the coming years, I plan on working to get a goalie coach.
Okay. Well, how about your style of coaching, the team style of play? What can people expect this fall?
What they'll expect this fall is that We'll be in shape. We'll come at you. I have what I have. Okay. And I think, if all you have to do is look at the Thiel record, and it hasn't been great for the last 20 years. Okay. To change that with what we have to be in better condition than you. We have to be able to press you hard. We have to be able to win our 1v1s. And, and that's the style we have to play this year. I mean, I have what I have talent wise. Do I want to be able to move the ball around and play nice soccer? Yeah, but I don't have that yet. And that's what we have to work on. So our style this year will be press you hard, be in shape, um, and win every 50-50 ball you can. And that's what'll be important to keep us in games. I mean, the team needed structure, and I think they get that with me.
Okay.
I know.
That's right. Well,
If
Coach.
we're off the if we're off the air, I'll tell you a little story. So.
All right. Well, we have talked about a lot of different things. I like to end these with one question of, if you had one piece of information, one nugget, one guiding principle you'd like to give any parents, players, anybody going through this recruitment process, what would you like them to know?
I think the most important thing is make sure your son or your daughter chooses their school not on the division, not on the size, but on the fact that if you couldn't play soccer, this is where I'd want to get my education. And if you look at it, there are not too many people going pro. Do it because you love the school. And I think that's the most important part. You're getting an education for the rest of your life. That's your foundation. And choose it because that's where I want to go to school. And then soccer is great. It's the icing on the cake.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more, Coach. Well, I wish you the best of luck in your first season there in the fall, Coach. And if you ever get down into the Florida, Bradenton area for any recruiting, give me a shout. We'll get together. All right.
I will do. We'll be down in Florida this winter recruiting.
Fantastic. Well, we'll see you there. All right.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Matt.
you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.